Welcome back to another episode of Step by Step through Mark's Gospel. Over recent months, we've been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're all aware that the NHS staff, whether doctors, nurses, administration staff, whatever role, the NHS staff are at the forefront of the battle. Everywhere I go, I still see posters thanking the NHS for their work. We're no longer standing outside our homes on a Thursday night clapping in support of their efforts. But there's still plenty of initiatives out there demonstrating our appreciation and honouring these heroes. They're working hard, they're helping people, they're making a difference. And people are right to recognise that and respect them for it. When we look at Mark's Gospel, what do we see Jesus doing? We see him helping people. We see him making a difference. We see him doing some of the most incredible things. Now, there were people who recognised him and honoured him, yet there were also a lot of people who didn't. Today, we're going to look at Mark chapter 6 and verses 1 to 29. If you want to read along, there's a link in the video description. In this passage, there are 3 scenes, and as we work our way through them, we see people rejecting Jesus and the message of God. The first scene takes place in Jesus' hometown. He turns up, and on the Saturday, the Sabbath, he begins to teach in the synagogue. There's nothing unusual about that. As Jesus has travelled around teaching and performing miracles, he's taught in all kinds of places, including in the synagogues wherever he went. Yet the people here aren't best pleased. Listen to what Mark says in verses 2 and 3. "Where did this man get these things?" they asked. "What's this wisdom that has been given him? What are these remarkable miracles he is performing? Isn't this the carpenter? Isn't this Mary's son and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us?" And they took offence at him. In their eyes, Jesus is acting too big for his boots. He's got ideas above his station. He should be in the carpenter's shop, not pretending to be a great teacher. It's as if they completely ignored all the miracles and the insight he has in his teaching. All they can see is a little child on Mary's knee. Who does he think he is trying to teach us? What was the result? Well, Mark tells us in verse 5 and 6. "He could not do any miracles there except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. He was amazed at their lack of faith." Now, what does that mean? I don't think it means that Jesus was incapable of doing miracles while he was there. He did do some, but because they were offended by Jesus, people didn't come to him or ask for healing. That certainly fits with the last comment about their faith. So the people in Jesus' hometown rejected him. Let's move on to the second scene. Here, Jesus gives instructions to his disciples for a preaching trip he's sending them on. The bulk of these instructions revolve around the practicalities of the trip, but in verse 11, Jesus prepares them for opposition. "And if any place will not welcome you or listen to you, leave that place and shake the dust off your feet as a testimony against them." Why does he say that? Because he knows that as they go around telling people the message of Jesus, some will listen, but others won't. Just as the people in his hometown rejected Jesus, there will be some who will reject his disciples and not want to listen to what they have to say. In the third scene, we're taken to the palace of King Herod. He's had John the Baptist arrested because he opposed Herod's marriage to his wife Herodias. It was a messy situation. Herodias was married to Herod's brother Philip. Herod was married to Phasaelus. They both got divorced and married each other. John spoke out against it, Herod was upset, and Herodias was fuming. The scene ends with Herodias' successful scheme to have John the Baptist executed. Now, what's this got to do with the rejection of Jesus and his disciples in the first 2 scenes? Well, who was John the Baptist? He was a prophet of God, someone who brought God's message to people. When Herod rejected John and had him put to death, who was he really rejecting? Whose message was he really turning his back on? It was God's. And then who is Jesus? Well, Mark chapter 1 verse 1 tells us he is the Son of God. What does that mean? Well, when Jesus is rejected, people are rejecting God and his message. At its heart, the rejection of John and his message is the same as the rejection of Jesus. As God comes into this world in the person of Jesus, not everyone honours him. As the disciples go around speaking about Jesus, not everyone will welcome them. As John the Baptist tells people what God has said, not everyone will listen. If you want to follow Jesus, this is something that's important to understand. Not everyone will agree with you. Not everyone will be happy with your view of Jesus. In fact, in some cases, the opposite is true. There are countries in the world where Christians are put to death because they follow Jesus. Scenes like we see here with John the Baptist do still happen today. Thankfully, though, that hasn't been my experience here in the UK. But people may laugh. People may try to argue or show you're wrong. It might get hard, and some might not let you join their group because you follow Jesus. Not everyone will agree. But can I just encourage you with this? Think of who Jesus is. He's God's Son, the rescuer sent by God. The privilege of knowing him more than outweighs a bit of rejection, misunderstanding. Well, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to look at one of the most amazing miracles that Jesus did, the feeding of the 5,000. Remember, if you want to know when the next episode comes out, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notifications bell. You can subscribe to our Apple or Spotify podcasts or our Facebook page. So hopefully, see you next time.